the House of Representatives. Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
When they must prepare to defend not their homes alone, but the tenets of faith and humanity.
And after this nice little intro, welcome to another video, guys. Today we are building the U.S.S. Arizona on December 7th, the day she sank due to a Japanese bomb hitting the, I think, ammunition storage for the first turret. Not really sure, I have to check it up. But yeah, this kit is from Revell, which is a 1967, 66, 67-ish tooling. And it was just constantly re-released up until 1997. And the version I have is from 1997. Why did I choose this instead of a Peter Trump kit? Well, basically, nostalgia hit me. I saw it on eBay once for like 10 bucks. And the thing is, when I say nostalgia, it's not because I lived in 97. No, I'm 24. But when I was a child, I was at a flea market with my mother. And there was a Charles De Gaulle aircraft carrier and the Arizona. And she bought it for me and I built it. Obviously, back then, I didn't... you know, quality with replica kits, even old kits, is like gambling. And I love to gamble. But I built it, looked good, but as a kid, you know, you tend to play or take your models somewhere, put them somewhere else and stuff, and they break, okay? That happens. The Charles De Gaulle, on the other hand, always stood on the shelf. I don't even know what happened to the Charles De Gaulle. I have to look up if I get it, but anyways. And that's why I'm building the Arizona today. The thing I have to mention, I said many cuts because there was much footage of me just, you know, sanding and or cutting off some excess plastic or some too long pins that are too long, basically. And yeah, I mean, the build is pretty straightforward. It's a very short video for a ship build, not gonna lie. And yeah, I didn't have any PE parts. I mean, they exist, but I didn't order them in time, and I didn't want to go through the hell of PE parts again. At least not for 1 to 720 scale ship. 1 to 350 and 1 to 700, that's debatable. But not 172. And when I say 1976-ish, I mean 1976-ish. It looks okay, but the towers were a nightmare to assemble. And no amount of super glue can fix the mental scars I have from it now. I mean, it helped on the kit, but not on my mental scars. And after the basic assembly of the ship, I mean, there's nothing much to speak about for details, I started painting. And first I primed the ship in XF1 black, and then I could have just, you know, get some small masking tape and tape off the trim that, you know, separates the anything above water, basically, like the water line, from anything below the water. But no, I did it a different way. which means I painted the deck in a variation of Tamir Sea Blue. I think I just poured some white into it, my last drops of white. Mixing ratio was about 70% sea blue, 30% of white. And then I had to mask off the deck with individual parts. Do you want to see it? No? Good, because I didn't record it. It took me about 3 hours though. And then I just, you know, painted the ship with some, don't really know the number, but it's dark sea gray. It's not really dark, it's like a normal gray tone for warships, but since I've discovered there's also light sea gray, I am convinced I painted a few ships with the wrong color, like the Bismarck. But that's a problem for another day. Here's the thing though, it is kind of horrible. Don't get me wrong, I mean it suits the ship well. I think it's close to what the U.S. surface fleet before 1941 looked like. Well, with some parts of the ship still being grey and not put into camo like the U.S.S. South Dakota I built a few months ago. But yeah, in future I may have to choose a variation of dark sea grey and or just use light sea grey, which I have to order. I have to order colors anyways though, because my white is empty due to this build, and I kinda need the flat white in 2 weeks again. After removing the masking tape though, it was a very nice and kind of convincing look with the deck. Of course I had to do some touch-ups with a paintbrush later on, but that's to be expected for someone who literally did this method of ship painting the first time. And thing is, with High Red, there's a problem. I know some builders don't use it and paint with their own mixture, but I kinda like it. I mean, yeah, even though the gray is light, it still turned out pretty dark in the photos later on. And before we jump to the pictures later, I just have to warn you, my photo box broke, and I don't have one right now. But I might be returning to the 2024 or 2023 photo box style of just, you know, getting a package and just reusing the box for my photo box and just glue some white paper down. I think that was way more effective than what I used before. And now we are back at the black stripe. I could have done this way more easier, but I choose not to. Still turned out great, and it's nearly perfect. I mean, those were, you know, painted by hand sometimes on ships, and or loosely, just you have some identification for where the hull is underwater. It's fine. Not gonna lie, when I peeled off the tape right after painting and saw that there was literally no paint that went under the masking tape, I was quite happy with the result, and I maybe started to celebrate finishing the model early. Then I remembered I had to glue on the smallest parts that I left off until the last steps, and yeah, I did like that part. And now for some detail highlighting. I used some Citadel Lead Belcher, which is one of the best metallic colors out there, to paint the propeller shafts in silver. Yes, I know some people don't do it. Some people use the gold, bronze-ish colors for the propellers as well. And I should have basically googled in which color they were, but I completely ignored it, and I just wanted to have some metallic colors on the ship. I mean, from the propellers, one broke and I couldn't fix it. They are in a different gold variant from Citadel, and I just wanted some, you know, different colors playing around there, giving you different metal shiny effects. I mean, you won't even see that much, but it was the best I could come up with. Adding the cranes and the guns later on was a different thing. I mean, I have superglue, but somehow the superglue didn't want to work. I have to look up which superglue is better for this kind of, well, model building, or this phase of model building, to say it better. Thing is, I just buy something for €1 or €2 and I am like, okay, it's superglue, it should work. I mean, it's superglue, it's supposed to work. Didn't really work here. And yeah, you see it later with the small planes that it was, for someone with me with a minus 18.5 dioptrin on its eyes, for nearly blind person, it was really a nightmare, okay, to apply those planes and those cranes and stuff. Yeah, I mean, for normal people it is a triggering situation, and a situation where even their eyes, that were clearly better than mine, start to fail. But yeah, I ain't complaining. I picked the model, I wanted to build it on the anniversary of the sinking. Yeah, my problem. And after putting on the last pieces and painting last highlights, I called it good. And there you have it, guys. The U.S.S. Arizona in 1:720 scale. As I said before, it's a tooling from 1966-67ish, which makes it about 87 to 85 years old by now. Of course, if we use the fictional date of January 1st release back in 67. And I had the Reeboks from 1997, which was already 30 years old by the time it was last reboxed for the European market. And yeah, it's a very good kit. I have a friend of mine who's as old as that kit. And yeah, who knows if this was a actual 1997 fresh Reeboks or something from 98 or so. Who knows? All I can say is I had fun building it. I had a challenge because no part fit except like the turrets, but as you've seen, one was broken off. I had to later reapply it with superglue. And if you have a similar experience with some kits that you build as a child and desperately want to build now, but you know you will be disappointed, just do it. I had a fun Saturday. I sat there, I had to sand and stuff, and childhood memories came back from when I built it as a kid on the kitchen table. My cat sitting next to me, watching me for a bit before laying down, falling asleep, and then eventually wandering off into the living room. Yeah, fun memories. I also miss my cat. He's dead now. Poor cat. Anyways, as for the Arizona herself, today is the anniversary of her sinking. And as a kid, I didn't really know what happened to the Arizona. My mom just told me it's like the U.S. Navy ship. It's like the ship, the World War II ship that had a big role. And, well, as I learned naval history, I learned what happened to her. And how many poor souls have died on this Sunday. Yeah, this is like 84 years ago now, since she sank. And I hope that my little pristine Arizona is a worthy model for the anniversary that is now proudly standing on the top of my shelf. I won't talk about the fundraiser today. I will upload a video next week or next weekend about it. And yeah. As for the Arizona, she's standing on my shelf now, looking beautiful. And hopefully I can one day visit Hawaii and Pearl Harbor myself and see the wreckage with my own eyes. Thank you guys for watching. If you have some tips and tricks or critics, just drop them in the comments. And I see you next week with a different video or a different model kit, who knows. Until then, I wish you a very nice rest of your day. Bye.